set your clocks, and welcome to PYCON UK 2023. So my name's Ann Barr. I'm the conference director for this year, so I have the honour of welcoming you all to PYCON UK this year. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the logistics and say a few thank yous and some of the things that are going on during today, and then we will move on to the programme proper. So there's been a Python and Django conference in Cardiff since about 2014, and at this venue from 2015 to 2019. Obviously, we had a hiatus for a couple of years for reasons that everybody will be aware of, and then last year and this year, we've returned to PYCON at Cardiff City Hall. It is a very welcoming conference. My first experience of PYCON UK was back in 2017, and I was made to feel very welcome. I know that, well, let's do a show of hands. How many people are here for the first time this year? Excellent, fantastic. And how many of you have been before? Fantastic. So it's probably about 50-50. So the people who've been here before, I'm relying on you to continue that warm welcome and make the new folk feel as welcome as possible to Cardiff and to PYCON UK and to the Python community. I will talk a little bit about kind of like social events and things like that, but you know, if you are looking to go for a drink or whatever else, please try and welcome new people and make them feel as warmly welcomed as possible into our community. So PYCON is a community conference organised entirely by volunteers who give up their time outside of their family commitments and their paid jobs to organise it. So I'm just going to start with a huge thank you to the team that have been involved in organising this year's conference. So, it is a team effort. Yes, I am the person that stands up here and speaks, but at the end of the day, none of this would happen without all these people contributing in some way to making it happen. So as well as the thanks from you, my own personal thanks for all the support that I've received this year. If you have any questions during the conference, organisers have got red lanyards and you'll find us around and about, so please do shout. Our volunteers on the welcome desk, you know, if you can't find someone, give them a shout and they'll track someone down for whatever you need. So we are generally a friendly bunch, so do feel free to approach us. On that, a huge thank you to all the people that volunteered for various things during the conference. John Chandler, I've described it as volunteer wrangling in some of our discussions in the run-up, but I don't mean that to sound flippant. We are very grateful for everybody who volunteers. We could probably do with a couple of extra volunteers for things like welcome desks and I think some of the session sharing sessions. So if you'd be interested in volunteering a little bit of your time whilst you're at the conference, then please do catch John. I suspect, I can't actually see him in the room at the moment, but I suspect he's probably downstairs on the welcome desk at the moment. But again, if you would like to. But also then, can I just have a round of applause for all the people who have volunteered and who continue to volunteer. My next major contribution to the conference is Cheryl and Julia, who are sitting over here, just sort of middle of the room to the right. So one of our goals with PYCON UK is to make it as inclusive and as accessible as possible, and we have a number of different things that we do to achieve that, but one of those is having the speech-to-text translators. There we go. I always have to remind myself because I always abbreviate it to STTR. But yes, so speech-to-text reporters, my notes tell me. So yes, and they do an amazing job. You know, I personally speak too fast, and yet still my words appear on the screen sort of over there. So they've supported us for many years as well. So a big thank you to Cheryl and Julia for all the sterling work that you are doing and will do over the rest of the conference. If you are a speaker in this room and you haven't either uploaded your slides or you've got any kind of unusual technical terms that you might reference in your talk, if you just send us an email, then we'll make sure that Cheryl and Julia get that information so that they're not caught out by something unexpected. Yes, thank you. Cardiff City Hall, yeah, we are very grateful to all of the staff here. We come back every year and they always kind of go, oh yeah, usually you have this. Do you want this year? And it's like, oh yeah, we do usually have this. So yes, thank you for keeping us in order. And they're very accommodating when we suddenly sort of have changes of plan and whatever else. So we are very grateful to them for everything that they do for us to help the conference to run smoothly. So please be you know, grateful to them and all the kind of catering staff and what have you, because they do really support us in being able to deliver this conference. Our sponsors, the conference, well, I suppose it could take place without the sponsors, but what we probably wouldn't be able to do is we wouldn't necessarily have the capacity to offer the STTRs, to offer the crash, to keep the ticket prices at a very affordable level, because it's likely that our ticket prices would probably be about double what they currently are if we didn't have sponsors helping run the conference. So yes, they're here to talk to you about their organisation or whatever else, but actually they do benefit all of us. So please do take the time whilst you're here to speak to their representatives. Most of them are also in the Discord channel, which I'll get onto shortly. So again, you can reach out to them in there. So our sponsors this year are Krakenflex, Auth0 by Okta, Bloomberg, Jumping Rivers, the Bennett Institute and the EuroPython Society. And then we have some other supporters who've helped us like in running and setting up the conference. Thank you. Yes, I should have warned you, there's lots of clapping expected in this segment of the day, so yes. Production 78 are our AV team this year, and again, they've done a sterling job in setting everything up for us, making sure, dealing with those like technical hitches, thank you, Cara, but making sure that we're all calm about what's going on. And if you are a speaker in here, please do pop along just a little bit before your talk, and Cara and the rest of the team will make sure that your laptop connects and you have everything that you need, and that the blipper works, which definitely makes life a little bit easier. So big thank you to Production 78 and all the team that are here. I couldn't actually see Tim, so because there's a monitor in my way, so I was just checking before I pointed in that direction that he wasn't there. So my next thank you is to Tim Williams, who's one of the organising volunteers, and his various helpers. Now, they're the people who get all of the talks that are in here uploaded onto our YouTube channel. So you can go back and look at previous years, and very shortly after each day of the conference, you will also be able to see the talks from in here. So a huge thanks to Tim and all of his team. A massive thank you to all of you who are contributors, speakers, presenters, workshop leaders. PYCON UK would be nothing if it weren't for the programme that we're able to offer for people to come along to. We appreciate all the people who submitted proposals to our call for proposals, and for everybody who's accepted and confirmed their talks and come along to talk here. Like I say, we couldn't run this without all of you. If you do have any questions or concerns during your time here, then, as I say, come and find any of us. And if you put in a proposal this year and perhaps it wasn't successful, please don't allow that to put you off doing that in future years. We were massively oversubscribed. We have way more proposals that we can include in the programme. So it wasn't any kind of personal judgment. Yeah, so a big thank you to speakers, presenters, and workshop leaders. Round of applause, please. Sorry. And then finally, a big thank you to you, again, coming along to the conference and taking part and contributing to all of the things that are going on over these days. A couple of kind of hygiene notices. So we do operate a code of conduct. It is on the website. I'll put a slide up shortly that gives you the link for that. But it summarizes into respect, courtesy, and kindness. Basically, treat other people at the conference the way you'd wish to be treated yourself. Remember that it's a very diverse group of people that are here. Tomorrow we have the Young Coders Day, so there will be some younger people, and there are a few under 18s who are here for other parts of the conference. I remember Daniele saying a few years ago that don't worry about children, they're like normal human beings, just smaller, so please bear that in mind. But do be considerate with your language and the way that you treat them and everybody else at the conference. If you do have any code of conduct concerns, then Daniele, who is just waving at the back there, is our code of conduct contact. You can contact any of the organisers. There's a telephone number there if anybody wants to take a note of it, and an email address, or obviously come and speak to us in person, and we can deal with any concerns that you may have. Ladies and gentlemen, yes. So people who've been to PYCON UK will know that this is now the time, the presentation, where we do toilet chat. So, toilet chat. I will not do the credit to it that Daniele, as conference director, has done in previous years, but I will do my best. This is a very beautiful but quite old building, and the toilets are perhaps from a different time to times that we now live in. There are ladies and gents toilets, but please make sure that everybody feels welcome to use whichever toilet they feel is most appropriate to their needs. So please don't, just because you feel that a certain person doesn't look enough like that gender to be using those facilities, that's not for us to question. It's an individual decision, so please be respectful and courteous to all your fellow attendees. So on the same note of respect and courtesy, what is a question exactly? Some speakers will take questions at the end of their talks. They won't always take questions, but the chair of the talk will usually let you know whether or not they're able to take questions. But be clear that a question is a question. It is an opportunity for you to stand up and give your opinion. It's for you to ask a question of the speaker. It's to show how brilliant they are, not how brilliant you are. And our chairs have, although the chairs are all volunteers, they are fully within their rights to reject a question that is not a question. So you have been warned, but please let's try and make all of our questions questions. Badges. You do need your badges. That's what will get you in and out of the building. There are some stickers in rooms I, J, K, and L, because we just went for plain badges this year. I can see a few people have already found them, but there are plenty of stickers. Please do go and customize, personalize your badges. There's some pronoun stickers there as well, so please make use of that over the time of the conference. Those rooms are also the spaces that we'll use for eating lunch, etc., so you should have those in there. Lanyards, right, okay. So I realise that we've had a little bit of an issue that we've run out of lanyards downstairs. Generally speaking, if you have a yellow lanyard, that means you don't want to have your photograph taken. I can definitely see that there are more yellow lanyards than we normally see, which is absolutely fine. But if you picked a yellow lanyard because there weren't any others available, we are going to remedy that situation this afternoon. So if you are happy to be photographed, but you do have a yellow lanyard, can you go and swap it out for a non-yellow lanyard at some point today? And the reason for asking that is Mark, who is our photographer, who I can see at the back, he uses that obviously to determine what photographs he takes and who's in photographs, etc., that are taken of the conference. So I do appreciate that there was obviously a bit of an issue this morning. As I say, we hope to resolve that this afternoon. But if you don't wish to be photographed and you wish to keep your yellow lanyard, absolutely no problem at all. But if it was just because there weren't any lanyards available, then at some point this afternoon, if you could just swap that out, that would be great. So yellow lanyards are the fact that you do not want to be photographed. Red lanyards are organisers, and any other colour is, yes, I'm quite happy to appear in photographs. On that note, a big thank you to Mark Hawkins, who is our photographer, has done the photographs for us for a number of years. And again, quite quickly after each day of the conference, he'll publish the photos so you can have a look and see if you're in any photos and what have you. You're very welcome to use those photos for your own purposes, but please do just credit Mark if you're making use of it on some other site. Conference Wi-Fi is Cardiff free Wi-Fi. You don't need to put any kind of login details. You don't need to leave your email address, what have you. You should be able to connect to that without any difficulty. That was a very foolish thing to say. I feel like I need to touch the wood. But Cardiff free Wi-Fi is the Wi-Fi that's available for you to use for the conference. And I'm praying to the gods of live coding for anyone who's doing a live coding example that does all go well. We are on Twitter. I can't bring myself to call it X, I'm sorry. We are on Twitter and we are on Mastodon, so I'll go backwards and forwards. So if you are on one of those social media platforms and you want to mention us, we're at PYCON UK on Twitter as it was. Use the hashtag PYCON UK, and that's where we are on Mastodon. Again, hashtag PYCON UK. Lunch. There is lunch. Someone did point out to me earlier on today that we don't actually mention on the website that we will feed you. We will feed you. So there will be teas and coffees with refreshments and Welsh cakes, which again, people who've been before know how important that is and how much of an issue there will be if the Welsh cakes aren't here. But there is also lunch. If you take a look on our website, there will be all the dietary information about what's served on the different menus each day. So you can check if you've got any particular needs. Everything will be labelled. The food will be served both in the centre and the top bit here of the Marble Hall and in the Ferrier Hall, which is just out and round to the right. When you go out to lunch from here, I would encourage you to keep on moving down and perhaps round to the Ferrier Hall rather than all stop at the first table you come to, because otherwise we're going to cause a bit of a bottleneck and there's going to be hungry people still in here trying to get through. And then there are tables in the rooms I, J, K, and L, which are down to the right for you to eat your lunch and socialise and whatever else. So that is on the website. On your badges, there is a QR code. That takes you to the attendee portal, which does have a link to the food and lots of other useful information, which I forgot to make notes about what that useful information is, but I know it's useful, and Alex did a great job of getting that all set up for us. So please do take a look at that. I seem to have put in 2 of the same slide. I must have thought it was really important, so we'll gloss over that. Oh, I put 2 of the next one as well, never mind. So conference chat, we are on Discord. I know a number of you are on Discord. If you haven't seen the email or have any issues, that QR code should take you to conference Discord. If you join, you'll join into general channel. I will just highlight for you that there is a social channel if you want to arrange anything sort of in the evenings and what have you. There's a sprints channel, more of that in just a minute. If you are a contributor, a volunteer, or a sponsor, let us know when you come into the general channel and we can add you to the relevant channels. I'm hoping that QR code works okay. No? Okay. We'll gloss over that. I'll come back to that later. So I've even got it twice, but never mind. Okay. The quiet room. We do have the quiet room, which is the council chambers here at directly the opposite end of this floor from where we are here. If you want to go somewhere for a bit of peace and quiet, a bit of downtime, read or whatever else, the quiet room is available for you. I would just say that if you're using the quiet room, please don't use it to make phone calls or anything like that, because it is intended for people who want a quiet space just to be quiet. Huge thank you to Brecon Mobile Creche that are here. Claire and her team are just around here. I've been in to chat with her this morning, and it's one of those things that we don't often get that many people who use the creche, but that doesn't matter. We still want to make sure that we have a creche available each year. Last year, nobody used the creche, and they were almost a bit like, nobody's used it, do you definitely want us? And it's like, yes, because I think that's one of the important things about PYCON UK is its inclusivity and its accessibility. So we will, well, if I have anything to do with it, but I believe like that I'm not speaking from my own personal experience, I speak for the entire organising team in the UKPA, we will have the creche available to use. If you do, thank you. If you do wish to use the creche and you haven't signed up, that's not a problem. We do still have spaces available, so just speak to any one of the organisers and we can arrange the details if you do, over the rest of the conference time, want to make use of the creche facilities. Lost property, front desk. The welcome desk is really kind of like your first port of call if there's anything you're not sure about. But if you do lose anything or find anything, if you can just pop it there and then we'll carry on with that. This door slams, the one in the middle, so when you go out of the conference room, out of the assembly hall, particularly when someone is speaking, it does slam, so just be aware and close it quietly. This evening we have, oh, I've got two of this one too, but I clearly had a moment. This evening we've got board games and manual technology. That will be in the lower hall. Pie Minister are coming, and I'm not sure if we're putting the pie in Pie Minister or they're putting the pie in PYCON, but one or the other, they will be joining us this evening. There will be board games and manual technology. Anybody who's brought board games with you, it'll just be sort of a free come along and play, very, very welcoming and social environment. Manual technologies, I think we've got knitting and crochet. I think I heard mention of needle felting. Stabbing, therapeutic stabbing apparently is available this evening. I believe also if you didn't have a lanyard and you need a lanyard, then you could make your own lanyard at manual technology. So again, I'll just leave that with you. The schedule, again, the schedule, that's where the QR code on the attendee portal does take you. That takes you to the schedule as well as other useful things, but you can see the full schedule. Remember to scroll across. I know there's a few people who had missed some of the things that were on the far right-hand side, so just to see that. And then I'm conscious I'm running a little bit over time, but I am going to pass very quickly over to Mark, who is going to do what the frequent flyers will know as bucket chat.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Smith. I'm one of two Mark Smiths at this conference this year. You will find me on... there you are. Yes. We're both kind of balding men with goatees. This is not... Oh, he's much smarter than me. He's wearing a shirt, so maybe that works. It is my privilege to be the MC of the Lightning Talks this year. We will be having Lightning Talks at 5 p.m. every day. There'll be a 1-hour session. If you haven't been to a conference like this before, you might not know what Lightning Talks are, so let me give you a short description. It is a set of talks given by you, the attendees of the conference, that are all under 5 minutes long. So sometimes we call them 5-minute talks, but actually that's a cut-off point, and it's quite acceptable to write a 2-minute talk or a 3-minute talk, and you still get the same amount of applause at the end. So you can give it on a topic, any topic that you think a PyCon UK audience might be interested in. So sometimes we have some things that aren't related to Python at all. We've had talks about mental health. We've had talks about resuscitating people who have had a heart attack. We have lots of talks about command line tools and Python libraries. So it's really up to you. And the reward for having given one of these lightning talks is that afterwards you will get a massive round of applause from the audience, accompanied by foot stamping and whooping, and it sounds something like this. It's so great to see that we haven't lost it after a year, so it never gets old. So, if that sounds good to you and you think you might want to give a lightning talk, how do you go about that? Well, we have a system that involves these 2 buckets here, modeled by my lovely assistant. So, it's a little bit more complicated than some other conferences. So, you take an index card. These will be by the reception desk. You take an index card, and you write the title of your talk and a short description on it. And then most importantly, you write your name and your Discord username at the bottom so that we can get in touch with you. And then you put it in one of the 2 buckets, depending on your speaking experience. So one of the reasons we do the lightning talks is to encourage new speakers to get up on the stage and experience the joy of talking to the Python audience. And so we have 1 bucket for new speakers. This is the green bucket. So if you consider yourself to be a new speaker, if you consider yourself to be a relatively inexperienced speaker, stick your card in there. If you consider yourself to be a more experienced speaker, please stick it in the yellow bucket that says everyone else. Usually at around 1 p.m., Owen and I will go away and curate a selection of talks from experienced and less experienced speakers on a variety of topics. Today, because we're starting a little bit later, I think we'll probably do that about 2:30 or something like that. Is Owen around? Can he nod at me or something? Yeah, sound good? 2:30? Excellent. So if you get your card, if you've got an idea already, some people come prepared, stick a card in a bucket before 2:30 today, and we'll let you know at around that point whether your talk's been selected or not. If your talk isn't selected, we'll leave the cards by the buckets, and you can choose to put it in for the following day for another round of selection. So, as I say, you write the title, description, and your name on the card. Sometimes people don't want to write a detailed description of their talk on the card for various reasons. Sometimes people aren't really even sure if they should give a lightning talk on a specific topic. If that's the case, just find me around the conference, come talk to me, and pitch your idea, and we'll go from there. And finally, if you'd like to give a lightning talk, but you're just not sure where to start, I am running a lightning talk workshop tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. So feel free to come along to that for an hour and a half, and we'll help workshop your ideas with other people in the room. And I think that is everything. I'm looking forward to seeing you all at 5 p.m. today. Thank you very much.
Okay, I am conscious that I'm running into my keynote speakers time very briefly, but we've mentioned sprints. Vince, who is here, is our sprints director. He's just going to give a very brief introduction to what that
sprints. Means. Incredibly briefly, sprints are back. We haven't had sprints for a little while at PyCon. Sprints are back. They're taking place on Monday. If you don't know what a sprint is, Daniele is giving a talk at 2 p.m. to discuss it and to describe it and explain it. But they are a fantastic experience and something I'd really encourage you to go along to. The second thing I want to say is, if you are planning to sprint on something, if you are the maintainer or a contributor, or would like to become the maintainer or a contributor of a particular project, please either let Daniele or myself know, just so we can kind of gather a list of what people are planning to sprint on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so that is the end of notices and the welcome. As I say, any questions, please just grab any of us and ask, and we'll